50 years ago, President Lyndon Baines Johnson did this.
Well done.
And this administration today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America.
So what does it cost? A new report today shows taxpayers have spent $22 trillion fighting it. That's 3 times more than we've spent on all military wars since the American Revolution. And what about the results? Today's Census Bureau report says the poverty rate is 14.5%, which is higher than the 13.3% rate in 1967 once the programs were underway and implemented. Greg, let me go to you first. You've been talking about this for a while.
I have, since the early 30s, Dana. This war against poverty was plotted to continue indefinitely. So the census counts a family as poor, but excludes the government spending that they get, the programs they get from that actual income. So what happens is it guarantees that programs will grow while poverty is unchanged because you're not counting the money they're getting. So it's not a war on poverty. It's actually a zombie that you can't kill. And it goes and nothing changes. And the poverty rate remains the same as you keep throwing money at it. That tells you something. Stop throwing money at it. This is crazy.
What would you do, Eric?
It gets even more insidious. They track the poverty level. They come up with their numbers as this is poverty. And if anyone falls below that poverty line, they continue to give them stuff.
Yeah.
And then they keep lowering that bar. So as the economy gets bigger and better, the bar goes down. That's why when we started, there were about somewhere around 20 million people on means-tested poverty programs, and now there's 45 million people that fall under the poverty number. As you point out, $22 trillion being spent. We got to raise the bar again, and President Obama did something that Bill Clinton didn't do. Bill Clinton put work rules in to you have to at least pretend you're looking for a job or try to get some of these mean-tested programs. He put that in, and President Obama was the first president to pull that out. So it's literally more financially beneficial for you to stay on welfare programs than go out and get a job for a good percentage of the population.
Let's take it down into politics. Bob, you've said before that Democrats have put forward policies that haven't necessarily worked out.
Yeah.
What is the big Democrat idea now to combat this problem?
There's a lot of them all over the place. By the way, I will say this. The Census Bureau did increase the level of the family of 4 would be considered under poverty. So that's part of this. But look, we came up with programs that, in fact, exacerbated poverty in this sense. We gave people housing. We gave people welfare. We gave children food. We did all the things that were the right things to do, we thought at the time. The problem is that what we did was, as I've said before, we bred 2 generations of dependent people who have stayed in poverty and had larger numbers of children. And so in a perverse way, it kind of worked in the opposite of the way it should. I think the way to do this is, as Eric pointed out, I think Clinton had the right idea. You need to start putting some restrictions on what you can do and what you can get.
What do you think, Andrea?
I think it's sad that no one's really advocating to make life better for the impoverished because, as Eric points out, they're keeping them in poverty and nobody is going out and taking risks or getting jobs because they don't want to lose their subsidies. But you know what, Dana? It's become too profitable and it's become too big of an industry. Besides being politically seductive for politicians, think about what a big business it is for healthcare providers who get all that Medicaid money, for the corner deli that's getting the food stamp money. I mean, people are profiting off of the war on poverty. So it's become such a big industry that no one wants to get rid of it when you look at healthcare and housing resources. So that's the sad thing. I just think it's become too big, the zombie, as Greg mentioned, to eradicate.
All right. I liked it.